In the year 2000, the founders of a struggling internet startup walked into a meeting with the CEO of Blockbuster. They offered to sell their company for $50 million. The Blockbuster executives thought the valuation was a joke and laughed them out of the room. This chart shows the massive financial gap between the two companies. Blockbuster was a $6 billion empire, pulling in nearly $800 million a year on late fees alone. The startup, Netflix, was barely on track to make $5 million in revenue. The movie rental industry was built on a physical, logistical nightmare. VHS tapes were heavy, easily damaged, and incredibly bulky to ship through the mail. This gave local brick-and-mortar stores a massive advantage because they completely bypassed the postal system. So Netflix took a gamble on a brand-new, unproven technology called the DVD. It was smaller, lighter, and could be mailed across the country for just 32 cents in a standard envelope. Stripping away that physical weight removed the primary barrier to distribution scale, giving Netflix its first real path to a national delivery network. But mailing individual DVDs for a single rental fee wasn't working. Customers still preferred the instant gratification of driving down to their local video store on a Friday night, rather than waiting 3 days for the mail to arrive. The company realized they needed to stop charging per movie. Instead, they introduced a flat monthly subscription rate. There were no due dates and zero late fees. This diagram illustrates how the subscription loop worked. By allowing customers to keep a rotating stack of 4 movies at home, Netflix effectively turns the living room into a mini inventory. Dropping one disc in the mail automatically triggered the next to ship. This meant users always had a movie ready to watch exactly when the mood struck. Meanwhile, Blockbuster stubbornly protected its massive physical stores, continuing to rely heavily on strict return deadlines and late fees. By anchoring the service in the home through a continuous loop, Netflix began to neutralize the primary advantage of Blockbuster's multi-billion-dollar physical footprint. By 2007, Blockbuster finally managed to launch its own copycat DVD-by-mail service. But the moment they caught up, Reed Hastings made the call to begin moving away from physical discs entirely, launching video on demand online. Netflix put all their energy into securing digital licenses and building a seamless streaming player. Blockbuster, bogged down by their massive physical footprint, became distracted by experimenting with entirely different retail services, like renting out physical video games. Within 3 years, the technological mismatch reached its breaking point. In 2010, the agile startup drove the massive retailer to file for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Legacy giants fail because they choose to protect their current business models rather than cannibalizing them to adapt to the future. But agility has a dark side. In 2011, the leadership at Netflix became so concerned with their legacy DVD business slowing them down, they decided to aggressively force their entire user base into the digital future. They ultimately split the company in two. Streaming would remain on the main platform, while the DVD delivery business was spun out into an entirely separate company called Quickster. This diagram shows the friction. Customers managing all entertainment in one place now had to navigate 2 websites, 2 logins, and 2 interfaces. They paired this with a massive price hike. Users paying $10 suddenly paid $8 for streaming and $8 for DVDs. That meant $16 a month during a global recession. The market response was swift. Over 1 million subscribers canceled their accounts. The brand was mocked across the internet and parodied on Saturday Night Live, forcing Netflix into a humiliating public apology and a frantic retreat to kill the brand. The fallout demonstrated that no amount of agility can protect a company from market rejection if its innovations make life harder for the customer. To recover from the disaster and justify their pricing, Netflix realized they had to rely on the borderless nature of streaming video. Mailing physical media meant their growth was capped by the logistical limits of the United States Postal Service. Digital streaming stripped away those borders, giving them instant access to viewers in nearly every country on Earth. But global scale introduced a new problem. When you offer a massive library of content, the sheer amount of choice becomes overwhelming. To solve this, the company developed a recommendation algorithm called Cinematch, even running a $1 million public contest to improve its predictions. This node match shows how the algorithm steered viewer attention. If everyone watched the newest blockbusters, Netflix would lose millions in licensing fees. So the engine diverted users toward older, less expensive catalog titles, maximizing profit margins on titles the company already owned. Netflix built a highly effective corporate cost control mechanism, disguised as personalized user convenience. Knowing what their viewers wanted to watch before they even clicked gave Netflix a massive data advantage, and they used that data to solve their licensing problems by producing their own original shows. This data certainty allowed them to risk $100 million on a political drama called House of Cards. Its success and subsequent Emmy nominations anchored Netflix's new identity as a prestige production house. In just over a decade, a struggling startup that was laughed at by its biggest competitor evolved from a mail-order disc company into a data-driven studio dominating the global entertainment industry. Netflix built a global empire by fostering a culture of proactive innovation. They survived because they were willing to kill off their own working business models, moving toward a digital future while their competitors were still protecting the past.